All right, everybody. I've just decided to say screw social norms. I'm just going to start discussing what has happened to me and why. And if I can find any of the body cam footage, I might actually put some of it up so you all can see it. And let me explain that comment. I got divorced around 2020, near the tail end of COVID. Okay? We're not going to get into the reasons behind it just yet. Some of that's going to come out. I'm going to be brutally honest about it. I'm going to explain my faults and my ex-wife's faults, mainly because this might actually help someone who's going through the same experience. I might be able to give, I'm not going to be giving advice because legally you shouldn't, but I'm just going to discuss what happened to me and what I did about it. And that's all I can do. And if you get some inspiration from it, it's great for you. If it helps you, great. And it might make some good popcorn moments if someone wants to get a bowl of popcorn and sit back and enjoy. I don't know what there's to enjoy, but it might be what some of you think. All right, so go way back, way back. I know some of you have made some comments since my divorce that you knew that my marriage was not good. Well, I never knew that. I knew there was issues. I knew there were problems. I knew that she had a temper, and she would keep her temper for days. I mean, just keep angry for days on end. And that should have been my first clue that something was wrong, because no one does that. Scientifically, biologically, your anger does not last very long. You have to keep fueling it to keep it in place. Okay? And it used to infuriate her that me and a few others wouldn't stay angry very long. And well, that is what biology does for us. We don't stay angry long. In order to stay angry, you have to keep it. And that should have been my first warning that there was something wrong in our relationship. The other warnings I should have had were days when she would try to gaslight me and tell me I'm not a social person, I'm not a people person. And, well, I run a business working with college students, and I'd work with anywhere from 5 to 100 at a time. And you can't run a business like that and not be a people person. If you can't talk to people, you just never would be able to do it. So I knew she was gaslighting me, never knew why, okay? Later, I have figured it out. I figured out a lot about her. I'm not going to share some of it because it's just not correct to do so. Although I might link a couple of videos in the description to help me figure this out, and you can draw your own conclusions, okay? About 6 months ago, I started watching a lot of relationship videos, and first they were angry men because they're angry at women. Those don't get you anywhere, so I quit watching them pretty quick. Then I came across a couple of psychologists who were explaining things, and their explanations seemed to make a lot of sense. One thing that made a lot of sense is 70% of divorces are led by the woman. And that surprised me when I heard that. But when I kept watching and learning, I learned that a lot of why. Because men and women are basically different. When men get older, all they want is a nice, calm household to come to, food on the table, and a woman who appreciates them for what he's done for her. That's about all they want. Everything else is just bonus, okay? Vacations, going to dinner, dates, you know, all that's bonus. Just having a good, calm household and serenity. And I remember about 5 years into the marriage still wanting to come home and see my wife. And when I get home, she'd start yelling at me about, you spent too much money at the dollar store on the kids. And you did this, you did that. And that just turns you off. You don't come home from a long day at work, want to sit down and spend time with your wife and have all this yelling. It just doesn't work. Okay? And then as some of the videos started going into Instagram posts and TikTok videos and women watching these, and I'm not going to go further with that. Most of you already know where that's going. There is a trend of videos with women about you've got to upgrade your man, you've got to get a better man. If the guy treats you well and you're happy, why do you want to upgrade? There are so many marriages out there that are suffering from craziness because people can't be happy with what they have. And mine was one of those. She was just never happy with what she had. I remember going to the therapist. We went to a marriage counselor for a little while. I had to drag her kicking and screaming into that. She didn't want to go. And one of the first things she told him is, he is a good man. And there you go. She knew I was a good man, but why did she do all this drama? Well, she watched a lot of novellas. She watched a lot of this. She listened to her mom a lot. I'm not going to go any further with that because, again, most of you know where that's headed. You can go watch some TikTok videos on Upgrade Your Man, and you'll know exactly where that's headed. And the ones who think it's okay just to throw a guy away and get a new one. Okay? And I'm going way out of bounds on this video. I'm just ranting right here. I'm just talking to you all. Okay? My early marriage was not happy for various reasons. Not early, late marriage. Okay? And near the end of it, it got worse and worse and worse. She started throwing temper tantrums where I had to sleep out of the bedroom for 3 or 4 days in a row. The kids were noticing this stuff. She would go stay at her brother's house for 2 or 3 days, you know. And I finally got fed up with all that and did something about it. And that led to the divorce. I didn't date anyone, honestly. Didn't do it. I'm not so sure she didn't cheat on me. I've got some evidence she did, but we're not going to get into that one because I know she's going to watch this video sooner. She's going to be screaming at the heavens over this. Probably try to drag me into court and say proof, proof, proof. Well, I talked to the guy I think who did it, and he said some things. Let's just leave it at that. No proof, no evidence. Just a lot of circumstantial evidence. Nothing concrete. Okay? But near the end, I knew things were going bad. And that is just how it was. And eventually, something's got to snap, and I snapped it. What I did to snap it is I took out a personal ad on a dating site. Because I just finally, she had been out of the house for a week, staying with her brother. And at that point, she's been telling everyone how bad and evil I was. At that point, I just decided there wasn't anything left to win. She was going to do it. I later learned that she'd been pulling $4,000 out of our account every month for about a year at that point. So she was setting this up well in advance. She knew she was planning it. Okay? She told me repeatedly for the last couple of years that she'd been divorced before. She can do it again. I'd better behave myself. She's a younger lady. I'm not going to find a younger lady again. I'd better be happy with what I have. And I better let her do what she wants. Part of letting her do what she wants was weekend shopping trips. See, this is what our weekends were. We'd get up, she would grab her mom and go shopping for 5 or 6 hours and leave me with the kids. Spend $300 or $400 on these trips, come home with carloads of stuff while I took care of the kids. Well, one weekend near the end, near when we got divorced, I just left her with the kids and just took off one day and went shopping. And boy, did that make her mad. And she accused me of doing to her what she'd been doing to me. That was pretty good evidence that things were falling apart yet again. Okay? But, needless to say, things went bad. One advice I would give you when things start going bad, start wearing a body camera, gentlemen. Because women have a nasty habit of saying you're physically assaulting them, you're verbally assaulting them, and they're believed whether you like it or not. And having a video camera stuck to your chest kind of disproves this. And I've still got most of that video footage somewhere. I believe I do. I had a hard drive crash last summer that was really bad, and I lost all my YouTube videos, as well as I was putting up videos of a Mecha Godzilla I got off the internet and I printed, and I lost all those. That's why that just ceased in the middle of nowhere. Just lost all my YouTube stuff. Well, anyhow, I still may have some of those body cameras. There's one, if I hope I can find it, where she's talking to police saying I'm verbally threatening her and I'm about to physically assault her, and I'm 7 or 8 feet away from her with a body camera on, saying I'm nowhere near you, loud enough for the police to hear it. The police showed up anyhow. I would sit over and talk to them about what they drank for beer and stuff, and it just pissed her off. Because I'm not a people person, I shouldn't be able to talk to them. Well, I did. Made friends with them every time they came over. I'm sure that just pissed her off. It threw her case out she was trying to build that I was an evil man, and therefore she should get everything in the divorce. Speaking of divorce, one of the things I made sure I did not lose was a house. I refused to leave the house. I kicked her out. I eventually just got her to leave. Okay? And that's some advice someone gave me, and I'm going to echo it. If you're going through a divorce, don't let her have the house. You won't get it, you won't see it, you won't have anything ever again. It is just what happens. Okay? Someone's going to end up with that house. There was compensation that went her way for me getting the house. She got a daycare that used most of my retirement. I lost my retirement due to starting that daycare and COVID. Had to keep my business open during COVID somehow. 3 years with no income, paying $6,000, $7,000 a month in rent, and keeping employees on payroll. Came from somewhere. Okay? And she divorces me right as COVID is lifting. I mean, about a year before COVID was done. We'll get into that more in a minute and what she did there. Okay, I have the documents on it, so whatever she may say on these videos and counter-propose, I still have the documents. I have not let any of it go because I feel I'm going to end up with it in court again soon. All right, so anyhow, we ended up in divorce, and I'm going to have to stop this. This video is getting too long, so I'm going to make a part 2, and we'll start talking about the divorce and what happened there. Back in a minute.